more now on the expected tariff hikes and stalled trade negotiations between the United States and India. We're joined by William Lee, Chief Economist at the Milken Institute. William, always a pleasure. Thanks for taking time to chat with us.
Thanks for having me, Sean.
Okay, walk us through what prompted the Trump administration to impose these new tariffs on India. Trump is clearly frustrated. India continues to purchase oil and military items from Russia.
It's really been a remarkable journey. Earlier this year, when President Trump met with Prime Minister Modi and Vice President Vance was there with his family, the relations with India were warming up to the point where India could have almost gotten anything it wanted if it were just to cooperate with the agenda of opening up its markets and allowing the United States investors to come into their marketplace and at the same time being able to be a little bit less strident in its relationship with Russia and as well as with the BRICS agenda of trying to circumvent the dollar. If they had just toned that down a little bit, they would have been able to make so much progress. And India really does need the progress because 18 to 20% of their exports come to the United States, whereas our imports, India only accounts for about 2% of our imports. So in this sense, we are a very important marketplace for India and for India to upgrade to higher value-added manufacturing.
William, is Trump right in saying that India's tariffs are some of the highest in the world?
According to the World Bank, whenever you see a table of the highest tariffs around the world, India is well up there among the highest. And I think India has really had a tradition of wanting to protect its industries. And I think what India has tried to do now is to open up to Apple and other high-tech companies to come and manufacture there. But unfortunately, they're fine with producing and exporting, but they don't want American companies to come in and sell, especially services like financial services and other things that the U.S. would be exporting.
To pick up on what you're just talking about, which Indian goods or sectors are being hit the hardest by new tariffs? India, the 12th largest trading partner with the United States, and as you mentioned, makes more smartphones than anyone, but a lot of businesses fled China for India, hoping to dodge tariffs and higher fees. How's that working out?
Well, it looks like that wasn't such a wise decision because India, even though it seemed like it was cooperating and wanting to join the U.S. as a partner rather than as a competitor, India just has failed to be able to open up its markets. In terms of goods, India has really been exporting a whole range of products from low-end manufacturing to high-end manufacturing, and its own strategic development plans was for more companies like Apple and high-tech industries to go to India, produce there, and to be able to export to the United States. But in return, the U.S. has always said, if you want to partner with the U.S., allow us to sell there or invest in the United States. Invest dollars so that we can have a joint kind of manufacturing, just like the U.S. and U.K. with Rolls-Royce engines and Boeing, right? There's no tariffs on those type of products. India could have had that kind of relationship with a host of high-tech products, but it failed to move on it. And now, because it has cozied up more with Putin, and it's cozied up more with other factors, the U.S. has really pulled the plug.
Now, you talked about financial services just a bit ago, but India, as you mentioned, has resisted U.S. demands to open its agriculture and dairy markets, for example. Talk about the implications to that. And I guess some people wonder why more nations don't push back against Donald Trump and the United States. But I think you kind of hit the nail on the head when you talked about how much India sends here as opposed to the United States sending there.
Well, Sean, I've said repeatedly that one of the things you have to understand about this negotiating round is that the United States is really a very valuable marketplace for the rest of the world. And what President Trump has been trying to do is say, let's make some deals and bilateral deals and regional deals so that you can start to export more stuff, but not just stuff, but export capital and other factors of production. One of the theorems in international economics is if you really can't ship goods between borders, you can ship factors of production, whether it's labor, or capital, or both. And I think the U.S. said, we're open for business, come invest in the U.S., produce here, make profits here, and bring them back, and your country will benefit, and our country will benefit. That's the deal that was given to India, but India just didn't move at all on it and take advantage of its really prime position that it had earlier this year.
You know, there are U.S. companies operating in India. What about the tensions, the stress? Are those affecting those U.S. companies in India?
Well, I think the American companies that are operating in India, in some ways have had a head start And I hope the Indian government will not move and retaliate against them because of these difficulties with the bilateral discussions. I think there's still an opportunity to move things forward because, as you've seen, with every pause and every pause in negotiations that's occurred, they could always buy down the tariff rate by saying, we're going to invest more in the U.S., we're going to buy more U.S. goods, and do it in a credible way. And India right now has the opportunity to do that because India certainly needs infrastructure investment and all sorts of investments, and allowing U.S. capital and U.S. firms to come into India has been something they've always welcomed. They can also do the reverse. There are things that they can invest in the U.S. that will help their own domestic manufacturing be more efficient.
Good stuff. William Lee, always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.